First off, I'd like to take a minute to thank everyone who made today possible and congratulate me and Kristen. Many of you might not know this, but over the last year and a half, I decided to sacrifice the majority of my weekends to embrace a project with Nate and Kristen. It wouldn't be right to not mention you. Thus began the process of remodeling their future home. And though I didn't know it at the time, it would also help me form the strong bond that I've developed with the newly married couple today. The process started with an energetic mentality and a sketch. Not to mention we're getting ready to demo a bunch of shit. On the surface, everything seemed rather simple. Nate drove down to NYV, grabbed a few beers. Who am I kidding? He grabbed quite a few beers. More than I'd like to admit right now, but I went down to the garage, grabbed the sledgehammer, and we got started. By the way, I'm still feeling some of that blown-in insulation on my back. Stuff doesn't go away, you know? I remember thinking to myself, this isn't so bad. I actually viewed it as a stress reliever after a long day of work. But that truly was the easy part. As the process continued, we got more involved. Issues arose, items that weren't visually apparent on the surface conflicted with our original plan. There was some arguing and hours of brainstorming, come to be known as Beer 30. My favorite part. We had to adapt, redesign, evolve. We dealt with what we had to We dealt with what we had to work with, from jacking up the front of the house 4 inches and rebuilding the entire floor, which is pretty sturdy now, Kristen. I think you're all set. I know you're a little concerned about that. To extending the roof and doubly reconstructing the majority of the exterior walls. Inevitably, issues were resolved, well, for the most part. Soon, interior walls began to form. Though it was just framework, visually the sketch started to turn into a 3D rendering. New doors and windows were installed, electrical work was completed, we had proper lighting and outlets. The next step came into interior finishes. Drywall was screwed in place, tape and mud soon covered the joints, flooring was, and still is, being laid in place. Nate primed the walls, Kristen painted the walls. Excellent choice, by the way. Colors look nice. That sketch that was drawn a year and a half ago came to life and molded into the artwork that will be Nate and Kristen's future home for years to come. While reliving this process a few days ago, as I tried to figure out what the hell I was going to talk about today, I couldn't help but relate this procedure to a relationship. When you first meet someone on the surface, things seem perfect and simple. You begin to form a rough sketch of a future life. Soon the relationship becomes more serious, and as you get emotionally involved, you discover more about each other. Items that weren't visually apparent on the surface conflict with the simplicity of the earliest stages of your relationship. Some couples decide to scrap that metaphorical rough sketch, but if you truly care about that person, you adapt. Thus begins the remodeling phase. The sketch becomes more visual and molds into a rendering for all to see. Unknowingly, you begin to reconstruct and redesign your relationship. It might lead to late-night bickerings. By the way, I hope your walls are more soundproof than Mom and Dad's walls. You guys do by yourself. But if you truly care for each other, you work things out. Over time, the rendering develops more character and detail, and insecurities or issues, though will always exist, begin to fade. Kristen and Nate, I'm proud to acknowledge that through this marriage, the hypothetical sketch that you guys designed over 8 years ago has never been closer to completion. It truly is a form of art and is more structurally sound and perfect than anything I could possibly draw. Though, like the house, there will always be work, I truly believe you guys are perfect for each other. I would do anything for you too. I mean anything. Now? Getting there. Now if we all raise our glasses to the bride and groom. I love you both.